Good day, folks. Today I'm going to be reviewing the game Stampin'. This game came out in 1989 from Rainy Day Designs, and it is for 2 to 4 players. Okay, so this is a game that has to deal with stamp collecting, and the object of this game is you are trying to collect a certain amount of groups of stamps to win the game. A group would consist of 4 stamps in a certain category, and there's a bunch of different categories. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be rolling the dice and moving around on the board and following what it says. In some cases, you're going to be buying stamps, trying to win some money, trading stamps with people, taking stamps from people, a lot of different things. So without further ado, let's show you Stampin'. Okay, folks, as always, I'm going to go ahead and show you the components really quick. Not too many. Of course, right here you have the game board, and you're basically going to be going around in this direction and rolling the dice, and there's a whole bunch of different spaces on here that have different commands on them, and I'll go over what they are here in a little bit. You've got 4 of these little United States Postal Service tokens over here that you can choose from. They're pretty nice, I guess. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to start on these spaces over here. Now my wife and I are in the middle of a game, so that's why it's kind of set up like this. Right here you have your Stampin' cards, and I'll just show you some of these here. They've got a bunch of different little stamp pictures over here, and they basically have different categories on here. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to collect 4 of these different categories, and you're trying to get 3 sets of these. So essentially you'd be trying to get 4 of one category, then 4 of another category, and then 4 of another category. And here's some of them. You got Indian art, you got U.S. mail delivery, special occasion, stamp collecting, classic cars, horses, a lot of different ones. Right here you have these tokens. One side says keeper and one side says demand. You're going to be getting 2 of these to play with in the game, and these are going to either help you try to get cards or try to keep you from having to follow a certain rule that can harm you in some sort of way. And then, of course, you have your stamp cash right over here, which is really in cents. I really would have preferred if they would have put coins in the game. That would have been really cool. But mainly it's just paper money with monetary values in cents here. Okay, so here's how the game's going to work right here. When you start the game, you're going to start in one of the stamp spaces over here, and then you're going to have 2 choices. You're going to be able to roll the dice, and then you're just simply going to move that amount of spaces, or you will have the opportunity to buy up to 2 stamp cards that are in the discard pile. So if there's a card here and a card here, and you wanted to try to buy one of those cards to help you complete your set, you could do that if you had the money. Now, at the beginning of the game, you're going to be receiving 5 of each of the bills here. They're going to add up to about $1 or so as far as the monetary value you'll start with. So let's just go over some of the spaces here, too. If you land on this, you're going to go ahead and take 2 stamp cards. You'll just go ahead and draw them and keep the ones you want and discard the ones you want. Now, you're always going to have 6 cards in your hand when you start and when you finish. There's some spaces here that says stamp cash. These spaces basically tell you that you'll be able to win money if you roll a certain number a certain amount of times. If you have a stamp auction, what you're going to do is you're just going to simply flip this stamp over, and if you want to have an auction for it, you can. You'll start the bidding at 10 cents and then go from there. If nobody wants it, then you basically would just simply discard the card. There's a few blind exchange spaces on this game as well, so you'll just be following whatever the directions are. Sometimes they'll tell you to take 1 card, 2 cards, or more. There is one space here that says NLW. Basically means it's no longer wanted. What this will allow you to do is it'll allow you to take a card out of your hand and put it on the discard pile, and then search through the discard pile and take a card that you would like. Now, as I said, my wife and I are in the middle of playing a game, and I've already gone ahead and I've made 1 set. Now, when you enter, you get 3 cards of the same category like this, and you only need 1 more. What you're going to do is you're going to put them face down like this just to show everybody that you only need 1 more card. Now, there are also wild cards in this game, and here's one right here. If you end up drawing one of these wild cards, you can use this to help complete a set. But if you or your opponent end up having the card that would complete the set, say I had a wild card here with my 3 spacecraft, and my opponent happened to have a spacecraft card, he could go ahead, lay that down, and then pick up the wild card and put it into his hand to help himself out. Now, when it comes to the keeper and demand things over here, let's say I landed on a space here that said I had to do a trade with my opponent or something like that. I could go ahead and just play one of these keepers in here somewhere, and this would just simply protect me. I could just say, no, I don't want to do that. Now, the demand card, I can use this basically at any time during my turn. If I play this, I could go ahead and call one of my opponents out and say, hey, do you have a certain category of cards, like say wild animals or something like that. If my opponent has any wild animal cards, he's going to have to go ahead and give them to me. If he does not have any wild animal cards, then I get nothing. And you also are not going to be able to play a keeper card in order to try to cancel that out. And that's basically how the game works. You're just basically going to be rolling the dice and moving around the board. And the first player that is able to get the required amount of completed sets is going to win the game. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Stampin'. So my final thoughts on the game Stampin'. Okay, well, first of all, I found this game at a thrift store, and it was on sale for $1, so I figured I was going to go ahead and get it. I read mixed reviews on it, and I figured why not go ahead and get it. It's $1. One thing I like about the game are the cards. The cards are really nice. They're made of some kind of a cardboard, I think, and they're really nice looking. The stamp pictures are really nice and colorful, and I like the vintage design on the stamps as well. The board's so-so, not too much special about it, but you have to love those USPS pieces with the logo on them that you can be and move around on the board on. That's pretty cool. Not too bad. As far as the theme goes, I would say this pretty much fits the theme pretty well. You definitely feel like you're a mail clerk of some kind when you're playing this game. Now, how about the gameplay? All right, well, I would have to say the gameplay is average. I like the idea. I think one of the things this game is lacking is a fun factor of some kind. I'm not quite sure what's missing, but I know that when I've rolled the dice, sometimes I'll get stuck because I'm not able to collect my stamps because I'm landing on a space where you are trying to win money. Or something like that. That happened to me. I think I rolled and landed on spaces like that 3 or 4 times, and I wasn't able to really collect any stamps at all. So sometimes you can get stuck, I think. Now, I think if you were able to change the rules a little bit and just, roll the dice and make the rule to where you can choose one of the dice to move that amount or combine them, that would give the game a little bit more interest, I think, because you give you some more choices. All in all, I don't think it's a bad game, but this one doesn't really jump out at me as far as a fun factor goes. But I like the theme. It's definitely a unique theme. This game is supposed to come with some kind of introduction to stamp collecting booklet that's about 32 pages long, and this one was missing it, but you don't need it to play the game. So if you're a stamp collector or enjoy stamps or anything like that, you might like this game. Again, like I said, it's not a bad game, but it's not really a game that I would try to pull out for a group of people if we were looking to have a fun night to play games or something like that. It's just more of a game to pass the time by, I think. But if you find one, for a really good deal or something like that, you may want to go ahead and pick it up. I mean, this game doesn't really sell for that much. To my knowledge, I haven't really seen it sell that much at all on eBay, and when it has sold, it really might have sold for maybe $11. But I guess that's just kind of a seasonal thing because all the other ones I saw just did not sell at all. So anyway, guys, that is my review of the game Stampin'. I hope you all have a great day and keep on gaming.